Hey, revolutionaries. Good to see you. As promised, it is Tuesday, so we are going to go ahead and get things started with the Hasbro Marvel Legends, the Target exclusive Build-A-Figure collection, and that is the Red Hulk series. I've seen several reviews of the Red Hulk, both as a completed figure and as he's being constructed, and it's really made me want to go through and get the last couple of figures from the set that I needed to go ahead and get one of my own. So we're starting off with Spiral, kind of Mojo's enforcer, if you will. Mojo from the X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men, the Mojoverse storyline. Not one that I read a whole lot. By that time I was reading something else. I forgot what it was. So, long shot, Mojo, Spiral. Didn't really follow the stories in the beginning, but she seems to be actually a very, very cool figure. And depending on how she turns out, I may end up getting the Mojo Build-A-Figure from the Toy Biz set to try and put together, just so I can have her with Mojo. That could very much be worth it. So here in just a few minutes, we'll get her open, see if she's worth getting a Mojo to go along with her. Who knows? Other figures that are in the set, of course, Spiral is the one we're starting with, but there's the Silver Savage, Wolverine, Union Jack, Adam Warlock, and then a black costume Spider-Man. Once completed, we'll put together the Red Hulk and see how he turns out. Packaging for Spiral, of course, as is typical for Hasbro, they've got the portrait of the figure up in the top corner. And on the Marvel Legends, on the single card anyway, there's always been the 4 panels of the character. And I gotta tell you, I think Spiral looks great. Yeah, very, very cool. On the bio, enslaved by Mojo, Spiral serves as soldier, assassin, and spy for the other dimensional despot. She has faced many of Earth's heroes from the Avengers to the X-Men, both in her capacity as Mojo's servant and as a solo operator. Her motives are often opaque, and she rarely explains her actions. Preferring to see her victory complete and then teleport away, she is responsible for the creation of Lady Deathstrike's enhanced body, as well as the delivery of Shatterstar's identity to the mutant body of Ben Russell. Phenomenally powerful as a sorceress and warrior, the presence of Spiral at Mojo's side virtually guarantees his continued rule of Mojo World. So, kind of his right-hand enforcer. Yeah. Her stats: height 5'10", weight 162, real name Rita Wayward, identity secret, alias Ricochet Rita, affiliation Mojo World, power is teleportation and invisibility, enhanced strength and reflexes, proficient magic user, and master swords woman. Also, the operator of the body shop on Mojo World. If you remember the bio on Lady Deathstrike, it did say that it was Spiral who ran the body shop where Deathstrike had her cybernetic enhancements done. So just kind of go back and watch. But that's a quick look at Spiral in the pack. Let's go ahead and pop her open and have some fun. Be right back. Hey everybody, just before I finish pulling her out of the pack, I got to show this to you. When you get her out of her blister, it's something where, of course, she's just on the regular plastic. There's tape actually holding her blades in place, so I don't expect that they're going to be too badly warped. But on the back, the rubber bands that they use to hold her in place, I mean, there is just a really crazy web of rubber bands that they've used to keep her from getting pulled out of her pack. They're easy enough to cut off, but it is by far one of the most involved, I guess, crisscrossing of bands I've seen on a figure to date. And instead of just cutting them off and pulling her out, I want to take a moment and just let you guys take a look at that. Yeah, if you get a Spiral, don't be surprised that when you open her out of her blister or take her off the card, yeah, she's just going to have this whole web of rubber bands. So that's just a little peek at that. Stick around. We're going to go ahead and get her open here in just a sec. All right, everybody, we're back, and we've got Spiral out of her pack, rubber bands and all. Getting a look at the figure, I got to say I'm really impressed. I am very impressed with her. I think she turned out very, very nicely. There are some things that I think were missed opportunities, but for the most part, I still would score her very high. I think she's still a very nice figure. Getting a look at Spiral, of course, the first thing you're going to notice is that she does have the 6 arms. It's kind of the signature Spiral look. And despite she's got these extra limbs, you know, it still doesn't look. It still looks very correct. You know, it may not look natural, but it doesn't seem like anything's out of proportion. If nothing's oversized, everything looks as it should if you had 6 arms. The first 2 arms, the ones kind of in the front, you know, they just use this over and under style. Same kind of thing you've seen in movies and video games and that sort of thing. So nothing too unusual there. You can see the third arm. They're kind of clustered together there. It's a little bit further back and down. And on her back, which is nicely hidden by the way her hair is fanned out over it, but on her back you can see where they did sculpt on her back, you know, where there would be kind of an extra set of shoulders. So, you know, again, it's one of the things where it's not, I wouldn't call it natural, but it makes sense that, you know, here are these 3 arms, the over and under for the front arms, and the ones in the back with this kind of extra piece on her body. That just, it definitely makes sense. And as I said, the way the hair is sculpted and the way it falls, the way it fans out in the back, it covers it up very nicely. So it works very well. On the head, first off, the paint on the head, actually on the face, you know, I love the eyebrows. I think they came out looking very nicely. You know, the face, the paint on the face, the shape of the face. I do think that in a lot of ways, Hasbro actually does the female faces better than Mattel does. More times than not, I'm a little disappointed with the faces on the Mattel figures for the females. Female faces for Hasbro usually turn out pretty well. You know, both Hasbro and Toy Biz actually. The female faces usually aren't too bad. For Mattel, I don't know why, they just never, there's always something kind of wrong with them. Check out the Mary Marvel for an example. You know, that's a terrible face. The paint on the head. Now the head is articulated. It's on a ball and hinge, so it does turn left and right. It does have an up and down. The head itself does seem to be a little on the small side. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just because the hair is so flat on it. But the way the rest of the hair fans out, and then looking at the head, maybe it's just me. But again, I think it does look a little on the small side. That's not one of the things that I'm complaining about. It makes sense for the accessory she has. Just something that I kind of noticed, and again, maybe it's just me. The arms. Now, the arms, obviously, again, the most noticeable part of Spiral. The arms do come up and out. There's a twist at the shoulder, double joint at the elbow, and then a twist at the wrist. No twist at the bicep, though. So even though the arm can come out, you know, the arms can come out in front of her, there's no twist at the bicep so they can kind of fold in front. And that's kind of disappointing because, you know, considering that, again, Spiral's, the big gimmick on Spiral, and I won't even really call it a gimmick, but her thing is the fact that she's got these 6 arms. You'd really think that you want to pack those arms with as much articulation as you could. And being that there's no bicep joint on there, I think that would be a missed opportunity for the figure. So that's one negative thing I'll say. She does have kind of a pin, kind of twist of the pin. Her torso seems to be pretty solid plastic, so it's not quite like Maestro who broke. He was actually hollow, but since that time, you know, these pins I've always been a little hesitant about them. You know, I'd much rather have the crunch and then the twist that you see on the Mattel figures. So in that case, I think Mattel figures are a little bit better, but I'm pretty secure in the idea of the pin for Spiral. It's not too bad. She does have this belt, which is just sort of pegged in there, or clipped closed. It's not affixed or anything, so it'll twist around on you. Maybe finding a way of gluing that down might not have been a bad idea. Her legs, this is the other area in the articulation I think was kind of a missed opportunity, where her legs will come out and come forward because it's pinned into the hips. There's no second pin or twist at the top of the thigh. So you twist the leg here, so it's out in front of her, and then you twist the knee this way, then it's in the front, twist it back this way, and then down, and then you just turn the boot back forward. Only problem with that is that when you come up and pull it forward, twist her leg up, the pouch that was on the top of her leg is now on the inside of her thigh. You can take it and twist it the other way, and now the pouch is on the outside, but the top of the leg says Made in China. So, whichever way you prefer, certainly go ahead and take advantage of. But having the extra twist at the top of the thigh, I think, again, would have helped out the articulation on the legs a bit. There is the twist at the knee, which we already saw, hinge, and twist at the foot. So depending on what you do with your figures, I'm just going to have Spiral on display. So the limit in the articulation, whoa, the limit on the articulation, only in the arms is it really going to be an issue. On the legs, I'm probably not going to do more than just having her standing. Now her accessories, she actually comes with several. I think she actually is the queen of accessories for this set. She comes with the scarab and then the sword, which both it comes in the scarab and then loose. Kind of a cool scimitar looking sword. I'm not going to put this on her because this is constantly giving me problems when I try and get it to fit on her. So I'm not going to put it on. I probably will go ahead and keep it in an accessory box somewhere. Really, I'm more than likely going to go ahead and just take the swords, and of her 6 hands, 5 of them can hold the swords, with one that's just kind of open, I guess, for her spells and so forth. But chances are I'll go ahead and just put the swords into her hands. Sort of like so. And then with her helmet, which just goes on like so. And when I mentioned that her head looked a little small, when you put the helmet on, it doesn't make the helmet look big. It actually comes out looking just about right. So, even if the head is a little small when the helmet is off, as soon as you put it on, it looks just fine. And I think you can really do it either way. I'll have to decide which way I prefer. But in this case, just to keep her accessories all together, yeah, I'll probably have her with her helmet on. Looks pretty good. The Build-A-Figure piece, as we've been talking about, I'm hoping this is the Build-A-Figure piece and not some trophy she took. But it is the head to the Red Hulk. Doesn't do much, but it does look good. We'll take a moment we'll take some time and get the rest of the pieces done. But overall, Spiral is an awesome figure. Very, very nice. Despite a few minor things that I think could have been better, I still definitely recommend picking her up if you happen to come across her. Great, great figure. Guys, certainly thank you for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, join the revolution. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.